Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are watching this Excel video tutorial. In today's video, we'll be talking about conditional formatting in Excel. And I believe this is not the first time we'll be talking about conditional formatting in Excel. We've dealt with conditional formatting during our Power BI session. And then in this video, before we jump straight into conditional formatting, we are going to briefly look at this very important topic in Excel's, which is worksheet cell references in Excel. And what is this thing all about? This is not the first time you'll be hearing about cell reference, column reference, row reference, and the likes of terms in Excel. And in this video, we are going to do justice to that because towards the end of this video, we are going to be making use of whatever we are going to do in this very beginning. I will want you to pay rapt attention. If you need to pause this video and in order to watch over and over again to grasp whatever will be passed, the message I'll be passing here, I tell you it's worth it. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into Excel. Now, example of cell reference, we have the A1, B1, B2, A2, A3, A4. And what does it mean? It means column reference A and row reference 1. Copying formulas with cell references. Now, how do you copy formulas with cell references in Excel? When we copy a formula that contains cell references, we need to consider whether we need relative, absolute, mixed with the column logged or mixed with the row logged in Excel. If you will not copy the formula, there is no need to consider what type of cell reference it will be. And we have four basic type. Don't worry, I'm going to send these notes alongside our video file. Now, now we have four basic types of cell references: the relative, absolute, mixed, column logged, and mixed row logged cell references. This works differently. Yes, this works differently. Then number one, it says the relative cell references. Example is what? A1. So what makes it relative cell references is that no dollar sign is added, moves relatively the word throughout the copy action. Relatively means that if the formula is looking at a cell reference, there is three cells to the left when you copy the formula to any other cell. The cell reference will still be looking three cells to the left. This is what we are seeing. Let's jump here. Here in this Excel worksheet, we have this value now, which is what comprises of what um equals to what this is A4. Now, what I did there is a means to reference. We're talking about cell reference. It means what? Colon A. Let me illustration. This means what? Column A, row 4. It means what? Column A, row 4. Now, what I've done is We are referencing column A, and why this 4 is our the number of row, which is row 4. That is what cell reference does. And when we are not talking about cell reference, we say it doesn't come with dollar sign, right? And how do we do that? Let's say we want to get the value, we want to return the value here, and you press enter. When we drag down, when we drag down, let's move to the right, and we drag down, what do we have now? We are still getting same word, the same value for relative cell reference. We can see here we are getting what this 45 irrespective of the cell it is. Here we are in what E5, as you can see. Whenever in Excel, when wherever your active cell is, when you're having your active cell, you can see your active cell reference by looking at your left hand column in this your index line here. We can see our active cell is pointing towards what colon E from here, and when you check this side you have what colon what big column. These are column here, column E, row what, row 5, column E, and what, row 5. Row 5. That's what it does. So that's where you get your what, our relative what, reference. But when we're not talking about absolute reference, it starts with the dollar sign. Absolute reference has a what? It has a dollar sign. Absolute reference what? Dollar signs before both our column and our row value. So column reference A, row reference 1. Absolute means that if the formula is looking at a particular cell reference, when you copy the formula to any other cell, the cell reference will still be looking at the particular cell reference. If the absolute cell reference is this, the formula will always look at that what, at the cell A1. It is as if the formula is logged on the cell A1 throughout the copy action. Let's jump into action. We want to use absolute cell reference. There are two ways you can do this. You can do this by what? Just type the cell you want to reference, this, and you press F4. Can you see it? F4 has a which automatically add your dollar sign both at the beginning of our colon and at the beginning of our row. When you press enter, let's to the right here, and you see when you come to the left, what are we having? We are having same value, because unlike this, when we are doing what, relative cell reference, but absolute cell reference, it is as if what, the value is logged both in the column and the row. So no matter where you are copying these two, it will be returning the initial cell reference, which is this. So that's how absolute cell reference works. Now, when we now come to mixed reference, mixed row and mixed column, it simply means when we are using mixed, we start our what? Our referencing. We reference by locking our colon instead of the row. Dollar sign before the what? Before row reference only. remains absolute or locked when copying across the rows vertically up and down, moves relatively when copying across the columns horizontally side by side. This is what it does. Equals to what? A, cell A, oh sorry, yeah, cell B. I will now put our what? Our dollar sign. Shift, the shift plus 4. That's how you can get it. When I press enter, when I drag down, it keeps returning what? Cell, the value in our what? In row 45. The row 45, that's what it will be returning. The values you have in our row, that is what we'll be getting here for mixed row reference. Can you see it keeps returning the what? The rows without returning the entire column. Vice versa for the mixed column. For the mixed column, you have the dollar sign before the row we want to reference. Before P for now. You have our dollar sign. When you press enter and you drag, can you see what it does now? What it's giving us. So that's how you use it. You have the dollar sign before the word, before the column reference only. Remains absolute or locked when copying across the columns horizontally side by side. That is what we just did there. That's what we did there. So this is for what? For mixed column. So it starts with this starts with what? This will start with let me put a footnote here. You have the cell we are referencing, in this case is B4. Then you have our dollar sign before the column 4. Before the column 4, let's close this. So that's for what? The mixed row. For the mixed column, it is vice versa. You have the dollar sign before the B and 4 and you close. So this is how it works. Why this? What happened in this? They all carry, for absolute, you have the dollar sign before 4. You have it after. That's for the that's for the absolute. While for the relative, you do not have any. It doesn't come with any dollar sign. It doesn't come with any dollar sign. Can you see how it works? You can see how it works. So if you need to pause this video and rewatch, it's worth doing. You need to pause this video it is worth doing in order to understand how relative and relative, absolute, and what relative, absolute, and mixed column, mixed row. This should be mixed column. Okay, we have the mixed row and we have the mixed column for proper understanding. So that's how it works. Now let's jump straight to what we have today. Locate in order to practice this session, locate the exec class 3 file I shared with you and go to demographic, and let's do some kind of formatting here, conditional formatting, like I always say, Control A, expand, expand. Let's add some, like adding some borders as formats. Let's do some kind of a bit of formatting here. All right, we want to consider conditional formatting in Excel, and without much stress, Excel comes along with what inbuilt conditional formatting that you and I can make use to make things work much faster. Let us consider this in our home tab. We have this in our styles ribbon section. Let's locate our conditional formatting where we can make use of all this. We have the greater than or equals to, which is highlight cell rules based on greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains a date occurring, duplicate values. So we press duplicate values, see what we have. Now we want to use for duplicate values here. We are not having duplicate value here, that's why it's not returning. Let's press Control and let's use where we have our duplicate values. Okay, now what it does, can you see here, is that it automatically locates where we are having duplicate value, and we can see it with this color. We have where we get our duplicate value, that's for duplicate value. We want to filter based on, want to format based on, let's use between, which is logical, between what and what, between, let's say, um 45,000 and 60,000. Dark green, red text, border, and whatever, you can play with it and press OK. What it does is Excel automatically what is giving us, it returns the value between 45,000 and 60,000. We have our what, our value. Let's go back. We can equally what, clear rows from selected cells, from entire sheets. And what thing we can do is we can just play with this. We can make use of this bar, all these things. But what I want to be teaching us basically is how you can, for instance, if you want to format text if it's a text format and you want to say, for instance, return, here we say, okay, let's make use of our text that contains, can you see in our image, text that contains, for instance, says man, says man. We have it now. Let's clear rouge sheet. Text that contains what? Okay. Cancel. Control A. Let's use text that contains um, let's say Yahoo. Can you see when we type, it's already highlighting it. If we talk about Gmail, it's already highlighting. If it is text that contain salesman, salesman, HR, accounting, all sorts of things it can, you can use that for all sorts of things. But basically what I want to teach us is how you can use this, how you can carry out conditional formatting using cell reference. And in order to do that, what we are going to do is we come to this place and we make your new rules ourselves. You use the what? Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now, we want to get, we want to format our sales, our salary column based on a particular condition, and we want to, okay, equals what? Come to the side, this to this. Now, if you watch, something is happening here. When we select this range, what it does is what? Automatically, absolute what? Cell reference. Absolute what? Cell reference was automatically included by Excel. It was automatically what? Referenced by Excel. Um, Let me get rid of this. This is not that, this is the particular cell. And when I say if it is greater than 50,000, we want to make it bold. Let's add border. Let us fill, return green, and we press OK. So by the time we apply this rule, watch what is going to happen. Now, it is not working. Why? As a result of what? Our absolute cell reference. Because of the absolute cell reference in our formula, Excel could not return the what? The cells that meet the salary amount that meet that criteria or condition. So how do we solve these particular challenges? In order to solve these challenges, what we need to do is come to manage rules. We're not even having any rules here as it is. So that shows the function does not work. And you do what? Equals this place, which is greater than 50,000. Press F2 to put your formula in edit mode. Get rid of this dollar sign in between your cell reference, and let's go back to format, green. Let's add font. We want it bold. Let's add border to it, and green. Press OK. Let's press, and you now come to apply to this place. Where are we applying it to? We want to apply it to within here and there. When you come back here and then you press apply and OK, Excel returns what? The formula for us, what we are actually looking for. But we input 60,000, 50,000, but Excel is giving us 41,000. What is happening? Let us check. Let me clear. Let's go to back to manage rules and format. Let's put this in edit F2, and can you see all this unnecessary was added? We are referencing to from H2 to H10, right? Press OK. Let's inspect. The formula is correct and apply. Press OK. Ooh la la! We get our what? Excel automatically locates that particular value, and we have it. Here we are. So it means that within cell our between H2 and H3, this is the only two columns, rows rather, which is H4 and H7 that met that criteria, which is greater than what? 50,000, and it returns the value of what? Bold. We added what? um Borderline, and we bold the what? The return value. So that is how we can use cell reference to format in Excel. That's how you can use it to format in what? In Excel. Another way, you can also come here, highlight this place, go to new rules, come here, you are referencing what? From here to here, put it in edit mode, and which is greater than 30. Format as what? It was yellow, border, and font size, bold, italic. Okay, can you see if it's greater than 30? That is what we have. So these are the means of what various ways you can format in Excel. There's various ways you can format using this inbuilt Excel conditional formatting. Just like the way we carried out conditional formatting in Power BI, Excel also has the same functionality. You can go ahead and play with all these rules. I hope you have learned one of two things from today's class. Like I said, if you need to pause and play in order to digest this particular session, it's worth it. See you in the next video. Thank you and God bless you.